So I secured my first overall match win in Rimfire PRS. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Shoot More. If you're new, welcome. If you've seen some of the other videos and you like the content, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps let me know we're doing a good job. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everybody. We have officially crossed over the 1,000 subscriber threshold. I've been putting a lot of effort into these videos, into this channel, and the feedback has been awesome. So thank you everybody that supported me thus far. I'm really excited about what the future holds for this channel. Let's get into today's video though. We have secured our first place match win for a regular season PRS match. We traveled up to SBSR, Snake Branch Steel Rodeo, up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Trent Keen, great match director, good props, good targets, definitely on the smaller side. The layout of the terrain itself, there's a lot of natural wind breaks and funnels, so you don't get a consistent win across the entire firing line. Each station, each target can be different. I do want to apologize before we get too far forward. The tripod that I had with me for my camera broke. The framing is not great. I did the best that I could. I almost scrapped it and said I wasn't going to film, but I'm glad I did, given that I won the match. Another point on that, I walked away with a couple lessons learned from this. I did win, but I just felt sloppy, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about. So having reviewed the footage and spent some time thinking about the day, there's really two main takeaways that I want to focus on going forward. One is transitions on the clock and just general rifle manipulation. I think you'll see what I mean there. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm wasting a lot of time and effort when I'm going between positions because I'm just not efficient. And two, pre-stage planning. Let's say you have a stage with 6 possible positions, but the shooter has to choose 4 of them. I don't do a good job of thinking through that in my head. That's enough talking though. Let's go ahead and jump into the footage. So we started on stage 9. It's just based on how the firing line is set up. It's staggered, so you shoot one set of stages in the morning, and then everybody rotates and you shoot the second stage in the afternoon. I hate animals. I think the last time I shot there were like 9 or 10 animal targets. It was a lot, and this time he changed it up, so there's only, I think, 3. We're ready to confirm. Yeah, so 3 targets, 4 positions, 12 rounds total, minute 45 stage timer. Movement isn't that big, but you are going pretty much from a kneeling position, having to stand up and move, you know, what is that, 5 feet, 6 feet maybe? So you can't just kind of waddle over on your knees. You actually have to get up and move. Overall, pretty good stage. Don't know that I made any mistakes here to really call out. Movement's pretty good. I'm not consistent in placing my bag, and that's one thing that I definitely need to get better at. Sometimes I'm on the side, sometimes I'm on like the nipples standing up. Sometimes that's on purpose because I don't like how the bag feels in one position. In this instance, I don't remember it being intentional. I think it was just how I was grabbing the bag and placing it down. But so there was a beep there from the other team. I didn't know if that was my timer. That really messed me up. Thankfully, was able to keep going, get my head back on straight, finish out my engagements, and we end with a clean. Next stage we shot was the PRS Barricade timed stage. So this was a tiebreaker. Modified though, 5 total positions, which is different. This is one of the stages that I was talking about where I had issues both with lack of pre-stage planning and rifle manipulation. I didn't do a good job of determining what my order was going to be. Because it is modified, I normally always shoot it the same way. It didn't count in this instance because you were not repeating a position. There was a new 5th position that you had to engage off of.
T-shirt.
Targets themselves were maybe offset 20 yards apart from each other. So the swing wasn't terrible. They were both the same shape and size, so you had to make sure you were engaging the correct target.
Yeah, I got a time on it.
And this right here is what I'm talking about, where I need to practice about rifle handling and bagging manipulation. Dropping that bag, I think, added 3 or 4 seconds to my overall time, having to bend down, pick it up, and place it back. It didn't end up mattering, but a lot of matches, stuff like that, does catch up to you, so I don't want to be making those mistakes.
Impact. 83-42.
Near. Alright, so tank trap stage, I think probably top 2 worst stages for the day. 5 positions, 2 target engagements, near and then far. You alternate from near to far and vice versa each time you change positions. This is a really tough place to shoot on the range based on where you're at. On the left-hand side behind me, you can see it's pretty open, so the wind has room to gain speed and really push your bullet. The equalizer is there's a bunch of grass in front of me that you can't see that has different lanes cut in it, and you've got a tree break on the far right side that is just to the right of the camera that you also can't see, so it causes the wind to swirl. And I just have a really hard time reading the wind in this specific situation. The other thing, I didn't make a good mental note of what order I was trying to go on the tank trap. I thought about trying to use one position for the harder targets that I thought was going to be more stable. I ended up flip-flopping those. It worked out in the end. I just committed with what I had because I didn't know how I was doing on time and I didn't want to time out. But those targets there that we're engaging now, they're up on the hillside. It's about 7 or 8 degrees. I put it in the Kestrel. It didn't say that it mattered, like it didn't alter the dial any. It was having to favor lower because the initial shots were high. I wish there was a way that I could practice this stage more, but unfortunately I just don't have anything like this locally, so we're just gonna have to keep going back to Snake Branch until we get better at it.
How you do this, man?
All right, pump the brakes, 5 positions, near, far, move and repeat. The far target is kind of a skyline target, so if you didn't see the bullet or you didn't see it ricochet in the woods, you were gonna have a really difficult time with the wind call. The big trend of this match was holdovers. Trent, there was a lot of target engagements, a lot of movement. I say a lot, a decent amount of movement, but it was done so in such a way that you didn't really have time to dial. You had to hold. Luckily, I've been practicing holdovers a lot, so it kind of worked out in my favor, but just a tough stage. The prop is not the most stable thing in the world. You can kind of see it wiggling there. I think I'm loading into the rifle a little bit too much. I think if I kind of would have come off a little bit, the rifle's balanced. It probably would have worked out better for me, but overall, didn't do terrible. I had a decent amount of hits on that farther target. Pretty happy with how things went, all things considered.
7 seconds. Back.
Yeah, that first one's wobbling and on out of range, and it's hard to get. Where's the bypass?
Boys, we're falling apart. Tire-Rung Barricade. what is that, 6 positions, 2 on the tires, 4 on the rungs. This is pretty difficult. None of these positions are very stable. You don't have time to use tripod rear. I've made the mistake before of trying to hang the bag over only one part of the sidewall of that tire on the top. This time I try and splay it across both sidewalls, I guess. It worked out a lot better. The gun was a lot more stable. Transition to the next position. This one's not too bad. The tire's pretty stable, but the rungs on the other side are where I start to have problems with the gun wanting to tip up and down. I've waxed the bag, so it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's just, there's so little. It's hard unless you've got a really full bag to get a good grip on there. One thing that I need to try to do in the future is flip the bag the opposite direction from how I have it now. You can see it's kind of flopped over. I think if I had it the other direction, the tension, I think it would have worked out better. I don't know how to describe it. It's just something I need to try. So I do time out here, kind of. The timer goes off at 124, 125. Par time was 105, so not correct. It's unfortunate because I would have had enough time to get that last shot off, which was an impact. It didn't end up mattering, so I'm not upset about it. It's just a good lesson learned to make sure that you check the settings on your timer at the start of every match, especially if you're not using your equipment. All right, next up, steel barricade. Engagement order, target FSA, so near to far, 4 positions, 3 rounds per position, 12 rounds total. The biggest lesson learned here is I don't have a good transition order. Again, talking about pre-stage planning, what direction am I going, making sure I know what those transitions are gonna look like. Ended up being fine, had plenty of time, got the impacts that I needed. But it's something that I really need to focus on in the future. What am I doing? What am I doing today? Jesus, John.
Back. Back.
How in the world I lost that? Back. Well, that sounds weird.
Stand back. Stand back. Impact. What am I doing on time? Impact.
34 seconds.
Impact. Impact.
Just for 10.
No, we can.
Next up, we have tires, 5 positions, 2 shots per position, 1 single target, 10 total rounds. Another good stage. From shooting here previously, I knew you had to be very careful about where on the tire you set up. I made sure to think about that each time I moved. Set up on the tread portion, not so much the sidewall, and you get less bounce in the rifle. Pretty good stage. I'm happy with it. Move a little bit slow. Maybe that's a critique if we want to be critical. But overall, good stage. Happy with the turnout.
Impact. Impact. We do need all the time. We can all go to Gadsden again. That'd be fun.
Could be, I agree. It was a good range.
Impact. Impact. Next month, somebody else is putting on the match for Doug. Tom Wyman is on. If you know who that is. He's on. He's one of the Rimfire Exchange guys. Impact. Impact. No, you're good.
Trying to get my watch.
No, you're good.
I want to make sure it's working.
I almost ordered a pressure timer last night. Almost. Impact. Clean run. Tim.
Alright, so the trailer. This is the one big mental mistake I had of the day. 3 positions. Position 1 near to far, position 2 far to near, position 3 there's an IPSC KYL at a different distance that you had to engage. This is one of those areas of the range where there can be different wind calls based on what distance target you're shooting, based on the geometry, how the windbreaks are, how the tree lines are set up, how the grass is cut. So it's just something that you need to pay attention to. We'll get into the mistake here. I should have moved. I didn't. I re-engaged, and you can see the hesitation. I'm going, something's wrong. I hit it, they didn't call impact. I know I'm wrong. What's going on? Damn, I didn't move. So I moved positions, but the important thing here is PRS changed how they handle wrong impacts this year. I have to get myself back in the correct firing order, which is target C. I do so, continue down the line. I'm a little bit frazzled at this point, but I was able to get myself back on track with the good correction. So I am proud of that. It just would have been nicer if the mistake wouldn't have happened in the first place.
Get back. 20 seconds, Bill. Run it. Get back.
Next up, we have the cattle gate. I'm normally a big tripod rear person on the cattle gate. Unfortunately, 3 positions, 3 shots per position. Didn't really have time, at least that I felt comfortable. Luckily, the positions were higher on the gate, so you didn't really have to get low. But as you can see, it is not the most stable thing in the world, so you had to be really careful about how much you leaned into the rifle. Overall, good stage. The quality of the razor, I think, helped a lot here. That smallest target was really easy to get lost in the grass, at least from looking at it through binos. When I was on scope on the Barricade, I didn't have any problem seeing it. So thumbs up there. Overall, really enjoying the scope.
Impact. 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 Impact.
I won't.
Yeah, I was just totally off. Impact. 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 Clean run.
This wind is drying my contact out. My eye keeps getting like blurry. So the second to last stage of the day was the big pipe, basically a troop line. 3 positions marked: near to far, far to near, near to far. I think I dropped 1 this stage. The targets were inside 100 yards, so the wind wasn't ridiculous, but you still had to pay attention because it was a little bit switchy. Did have a target malfunction there. We just kind of worked through it. You see me come off the scope to double check, and we're just gonna shoot it stuck in the position that it's at. I do have the pump pillow with me. That last position is pretty low. I think having watched other shooters shoot it before me, prone is definitely the best option. So that's the plan.
Oh, impact.
Overall, pretty good stage. It's unfortunate I got the wind call wrong on that one far distance target, but it happens.
Got you dropping one. Number 2 still flipped up?
Yeah. You want to hit it one more time?
I don't think it's going. It's bladed back. It's hung on the hanger. Oh, it's spun around, isn't it? Yeah.
Am I hitting it?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah, you can. It's not going to do nothing. Yeah, you just, it's gotten spun all the way around.
So the last stage of the day for us was stumps. Quite a few stressors here. 6 possible positions. Shooter has to choose 5. Engage the KYL, shoot the confirmation target, move, and then shoot the next smallest KYL confirmation move. So you have to maintain an idea of which target you're shooting, making sure you're moving at the appropriate time. That was a pretty decent spread between the 2 targets. I hesitate to say that's a skyline target on the farther target, but it kind of is because you don't really get a lot of feedback from shooting into the woods unless you luck out and hit a twig or something. But it's just kind of having to trust what you see in your scope, really keep an eye on what's going on downrange, and make good adjustments. I think one criticism I have here for myself is where I place the bag on the post is not consistent each time. Initially, I was favoring more towards me. Now I'm favoring more on the other side of the stump. If I had to do this again, I'm going to try and have the bag centered on the stump a little bit better. That way the rifle is a little bit more stable. Too much wind. So there you have it. Really proud to bring home my first dub. I think this year is going to be something special. If I qualify, I am planning to go to nationals. So that's kind of the drive behind this and chasing PRS points. But I'm also trying to do well in our local series, and that's why I chose to go to this match, as it also qualified for our local points race. So just to reiterate again, the 2 key takeaways and things that I want to work on from this are: 1, pre-stage planning, thinking through how I'm going to progress through the stage, what positions am I going to choose, and why am I going to choose them. Maybe it makes more sense to choose an easier position to engage the harder targets, and vice versa. Choose a hard position to engage the easy targets. Those little differences, I think, can help make the difference in those matches that are won by 1 impact. So I'm trying to get in that mindset now of doing every single thing that I can perfect. I don't know that I ever will, but I think the quote is, if you chase perfect, you'll get excellence or achieve excellence. I'm butchering it. I think it's a Lombardi quote. Either way, second place that I really want to spend some time practicing is rifle manipulation on the clock and building those positions. I'm stable in the position, but it's more so getting out of and into the position again. That transition period, I think I need some work. So maybe we could do some videos on that, just kind of like we did the tank trap, because I think repetition is just, it's one of those things that it just takes time. You know, you have to experiment, you have to figure out how you hold the bag, how you hold the rifle, etc. So overall, really happy, really proud. I'm excited to see how the rest of the year is going. If you guys like this content, please hit a thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have not already, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks again.